Returns are coming. The moment you make your first sale, a return is eventually going to follow. The question isn't whether it'll happen. The question is whether you have a system in place or you're winging it every single time. Because there are two ways to handle returns in dropshipping. The way that costs you money on every single one and the way that minimizes the damage. So let's talk about how to set this up the right way. What's going on, everyone? My name is Eric Hunsaker, and here on this channel, we cut through the fluff to help you build smarter Shopify stores and grow your e-commerce business. So let's break it down. The reality of dropshipping returns. Here's the thing that most beginners don't realize until it's too late. When a customer returns a product to a traditional retailer, the store gets the item back, puts it on the shelf, and sells it again. That's clean. In dropshipping, that loop doesn't exist. Your supplier in China or wherever they're based almost certainly does not accept returns. AliExpress suppliers generally won't take a product back. Even if they would, the cost to ship something internationally from your customer to your supplier often exceeds the value of the product itself. On a $12 item, shipping back to China could cost $20 or more. The math just doesn't work. So the first thing to accept is this. In dropshipping, a return usually means you're eating the cost, one way or another. The goal is to set up your policy in your process so that cost is predictable, minimal, and doesn't blindside you. Writing a return policy that protects you. Before you get your first sale, you need a written return policy. Now, this isn't optional. The FTC requires online sellers to honor their stated return policies, and if you don't have one posted, customers in many states can legally return merchandise within a 30-day by default. A clear policy protects you legally and sets expectations up front. Here's what a solid dropshipping return policy includes. Set a 30-day window. That's the standard that customers expect, and it keeps you aligned with most platform requirements. You can go shorter, but anything under 14 days tends to trigger distrust. 30 days is the sweet spot. Require that items be returned in original condition, unused, and in original packaging. This protects you from someone wearing a product for 3 weeks and then trying to send it back. Add a clear exception for damaged or defective items. For those, state that a photo of damage is required within 72 hours of delivery and that a refund or a replacement will be issued without requiring the item back. This is important, and I'll come back to it in just a minute here. Add a note that sale items or custom items are final sale if that applies to your store. That's another layer of protection. Keep the language simple. Your customers aren't reading legalese. Short sentences, plain words, no jargon. Adding your policy to Shopify. Now, once you've written your policy, you need to add it to your Shopify store. So go to the settings in your Shopify admin and then scroll down to policies. You'll see a dedicated field for your refund policy, privacy policy, terms of service, and a shipping policy. Paste your return policy into the refund field. Shopify automatically links this page in your store's footer once it's saved. That means that any customer who wants to find it can. This is also what payment processors like Shopify Payments, Stripe, and PayPal look for when a customer files a dispute. Having a clear, published policy is your first line of defense in a chargeback situation. When to refund without requiring a return. This is the most important concept in this whole video. For a lot of situations in dropshipping, the smartest move is to issue a refund or send a replacement without ever asking the customer to ship anything back. Here's why. If the product costs $10 and the return shipping would cost $6, you've recovered $4 of value and annoyed the customer with a complicated return process. That's not a win. On top of that, if the supplier won't take it back, that returned item is just going to sit at your address doing nothing. For damaged or defective items, use the photo evidence method. Your policy already tells customers to send a photo within 72 hours. Once they do, you verify that the damage is real, then issue a full refund or send a replacement. No return required. The customer is happy, you've resolved the issue in one message, and the whole transaction costs you the product price. But you've avoided a chargeback, preserved the review relationship, and you keep the process simple. For lower value items, say anything under $20, almost always just refund without return. The math simply doesn't support the friction of a return process. Issue the refund, mark it as resolved, move on. For higher value items, you have more reason to actually request the product back before issuing a refund. You can use a prepaid return label through USPS or a service like Pirate Ship and factor that cost into your decision. But Even then, weigh it carefully. How to process a return in Shopify Admin. Now let me walk you through the actual steps inside Shopify so you know exactly what to do when a request comes in. So first things first, if you don't already have a Shopify account, you can click the link down below in the description to get started with a free 3-day trial. After that, your first 3 months are just $1 each, so click the link down below in the description to get started with Shopify. Now, once you're inside of Shopify, this right here is what your dashboard will look like. So again, real quick, to go find those policies, we click on Settings, Policies, and this is where you can go ahead and edit these policies. Today, we're talking about the return and refund policy, so you can click here, and Shopify actually has a template, so you can go ahead and copy this and edit it to fit all your needs, or just create your own. So go to your Shopify admin and click on Orders. Find the relevant order and open it. At the top right, you'll see options including refund and return. If the customer is sending the item back, click return and follow the prompts to set up a return label and receive the inventory back. If you're issuing a refund without a return, then click refund directly. On the refund screen, enter the quantity that you're refunding for each line item. For a full refund, enter the full quantity. For a partial refund, enter the number being refunded and leave the rest at 0. Shopify automatically calculates the refund amount, including tax. Decide whether to refund the original shipping. If the return is because of a product defect or an error, yes, refund shipping. If the customer just changed their mind, you can choose not to. Check the refund shipping box accordingly. Now, if you're not getting inventory back, then make sure that the restock items box is unchecked. Then click refund. The money goes back to the original payment method. Credit card refunds take 5 to 10 business days. PayPal is usually 3 to 5. And that's the whole process. It takes about 2 minutes once you know where everything is. Handling a return when the supplier won't take it back. Sometimes you'll have a situation where a customer does want to return something and the value is high enough that it makes sense to accept the return, but your supplier won't take it. In that case, you have a few options. Option 1 is to accept the return in your own address. If you have a home address or a PO box, the customer ships it back to you. You inspect it, and if it's in good condition, you can relist it or resell it elsewhere. This only makes sense if the product value justifies the hassle. Option 2 is to offer a partial refund and let the customers keep the item. This works surprisingly well. Tell the customer that you're going to give them 50% back and they don't need to ship anything. Most customers would rather have some money back right now than deal with packaging something up and going to the post office. It saves you the return shipping cost and usually results in a satisfied customer. Option 3 is to contact the supplier anyways. Even if their general policy is no returns, some suppliers will make exceptions for defective batches or ongoing customers. It's worth a message. The worst they can do is say no. The photo evidence method for damaged goods. So I want to come back to this because it's the clearest win in dropshipping returns management. A customer gets their order and the product is damaged. Maybe it got crushed in shipping. Maybe there's a manufacturing defect. They're frustrated, so they send you a message. Your response is this. Ask them to send a clear photo of the damage. Once you receive it, you confirm it in writing, apologize for the inconvenience, and tell them that you're issuing a full refund or sending a replacement, whichever they prefer. No return necessary. That interaction, handled well, often results in a 5-star review, even though the product arrived damaged, because the customer's expectation of the resolution was positive. That's the goal. Handle it fast, handle it fairly, and move on. Exchanges in Shopify. If a customer wants a different size, color, or item instead of a refund, Shopify has an exchange feature built into the returns workflow. When you open the order and click return, you can add an exchange item before completing the return. Shopify creates a new order for the exchange item and links it to the original. For dropshippers, exchanges work best when you're dealing with size or variant swaps within the same product. Just make sure you're placing a new order with your supplier for the correct variant, and be clear with the customer on timing. Building a return reserve into your margins. So here's the final piece that most people skip. Return and refund costs are a predictable cost of doing business in e-commerce. If your return rate runs around 3 to 5%, which is typical for general merchandise dropshipping, you should be pricing with that in mind. So when you calculate your selling price, you can add 3 to 5% onto your target cost to create a built-in buffer. That way, when returns happen, you're not eating into profits that you weren't expecting to lose. It's already accounted for in the price. Returns become a known cost, not a surprise. surprise. So that's the mindset shift that separates stores that feel out of control from stores that run predictably. Getting your store set up. So if you're still in the process of building a Shopify store, Shopify is offering a 3-day free trial followed by just $1 a month for your first 3 months. That's more than enough runway to get your store built, your return policy in place, and your first orders rolling in. We've got that link for you down in the description below. So write a return policy before you get your first sale. Put it in Shopify under settings and policies. Use the photo evidence method for damaged goods and refund without requiring a return when the numbers don't justify it. Know how to process a refund in your Shopify admin so you're not scrambling when it happens. And build your return costs into your margins so it's never a surprise. Returns aren't the end of the world. With a system, they're just part of running a real store. I'm Eric from Shopify Mastery, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you here in the next video.